Hi, I'm Tom Lemons, and welcome to the January 16th edition of our show. Today we got a very special guest, Carole Sanek with the Social Butterfly Media Marketing. So let's get right into the week's top stories. Detectives with the Hernando County Sheriff's Office served 3 separate search warrants this week, resulting in the arrest of 4 individuals. 20-year-old Nicholas Ryan Khalili of Brooksville is charged with possession of marijuana with intent to sell after investigators discovered 191 marijuana plants inside the home and another 144 plants in a U-Haul truck parked nearby. A property manager tipped off investigators after Khalili refused a routine inspection of the home. Deputies arrested 32-year-old Didier Raul Vasquez at his home in Brooksville Friday after a search revealed 50 marijuana plants and over 185 grams of bagged marijuana. Vasquez faces various drug charges, including trafficking and stealing utilities. Immigration and Customs has placed a hold on Vasquez since he is not a U.S. citizen. Yesterday, investigators executed a search warrant at a home in Arepica, resulting in the seizure of over 955 MDMA pills, more commonly known as ecstasy. 26-year-old John Underwood and 23-year-old Brittany Underwood both face various drug charges. However, John faces the more serious charge of trafficking in MDMA and could face a 7-year minimum mandatory prison sentence. He is currently behind bars, held on a $500,000 bond. And that's this week's top story. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're here with Carole Sanek with the Social Butterfly Media Marketing. Hey Carole, how are you?
I'm great, Tom. How are you today?
Great. So Carole, you work in media marketing, social media marketing. Tell us a little bit about your background. What do you do actually in that business?
I do social media PR for different clients of all kinds of walks of careers.
Mm-hmm. Can you give us an example of some people you've worked with or some things you've done for these people?
Yes. I presently have a PR firm in Clearwater. I'm also doing the social media for Cajun in a Truck food truck here in the Hernando County area. Mm-hmm. I also have an attorney on board, and I have the airport here in Hernando County that I'm doing social media for, and about 15 other clients.
So Carole, I heard you mention something about Google Plus. Can you explain what that is?
Google Plus is Google. There is one reason to be there, and it's for SEO. You want to be on Google Plus, and I'm going to tell you why right now. This is my secret sauce.
Okay.
Ready?
All right.
When you put a post on Google Plus, it gets indexed by Google. That gives you SEO. You're not getting that from Facebook. You're not getting that from Twitter. You're not getting that from LinkedIn. And that's the #1 reason you want to be on Google Plus. The second reason you want to be on Google Plus is it is constantly what we call evergreen. It is always there. It will come back up and be talked about. Facebook posts, I'm sorry to say, last 2.5 hours. Mm-hmm. Twitter, 18 minutes. So why wouldn't you want to be on Google Plus?
Right. Now, for our viewers, can you explain just briefly what SEO?
SEO? Sure.
Can you explain that?
That's search engine optimization. Mm-hmm. That's Google's algorithm, page ranking of getting you up to that first page. You know, the top of the first page. I'm happy when I'm on maybe the 4th or 5th position of that first page. But if people don't normally scroll beyond 1 or 2 pages.
Great. Now, Carole, obviously with social media, there's always some negatives that come along with it, and I'm sure a lot of people have experienced a few things while using it that have caused them some damage in life or been embarrassing, sometimes, like that. Give us an example. One of the things that you mentioned to us before was that people who are deceased are still on social media, and explain that to us.
Well, obviously we don't think about what's going to happen when we're no longer walking this earth and sitting in front of our laptops and typing into our Facebook page. Facebook actually does have a program where they will allow family members to take that page and create it as a memorial. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. I myself probably have 10 friends on Facebook that have passed on.
Carole, I have a teenage daughter in the home, like a lot of people do, have children in their home. What are the dangers of social media with minors? Accessing things your parents don't want them to access.
How much time do you have?
As much as you need.
First of all, as a parent, you should always be a friend to your child. If they object to that, then I would suggest that you really need to know their login and their password, and you have no reason not to go in and check. Parents need to supervise social media much more than what they're doing these days. You have all these incidents of sexting. You have all these incidents of, unfortunately, creepy people on social media. You have the fact that of the 100 million people on Facebook, 10% are fake profiles. That's a lot of people that are creepy. Seriously. So, and the other thing that I always tell parents too, for security reasons, is, you know, the device needs to be where you can see it as a parent. Unfortunately, kids have phones, kids have iPads, kids can be anywhere on social media these days, and we can't always see what they're saying and what they're doing.
So it's almost impossible to really control it 100% because you can't be with your kids 24 hours a day. Carole, let's talk about bullying. Okay. Now, obviously, kids in school are bullied all the time. It's usually on the school bus or in the street, but now we're seeing a lot more of that on social media. Now, have you ever been bullied?
Absolutely, I've been bullied online.
As an adult, right?
Absolutely. I think what happens here is when I started to do the research on it, I found that a lot of people bully online because they're anonymous. The anonymity behind getting on a keyboard and saying nasty things about somebody is much easier than me coming up to you and saying, I don't like your tie. Right? So what you need to do, and what I always advise people to do, is to copy and paste and print off the offending remarks, report it to Facebook, and block and unfriend the person that's doing this, or at least block them. If you're not a friend of theirs, you can still block them. A lot of people don't realize that. You just have to push that block and report button. Now, when it happened to me, Facebook went back and looked at the conversation, and then they took the other person down.
So there are steps that Facebook, the company, can do to help a user.
Yes, I think what people need to realize here, Tom, is that Facebook always has what you have written. You may delete it, you may take it down, you may leave Facebook, but it's always there. Case in point, it ends up in divorce courts.
Correct, correct. Along with text messaging, emails, anything else you've used,
Exactly.
right? Right. So Carole, you got to tell us how to reach you.
That's really simple. I can be reached at Carole, C-A-R-O-L-E, do not leave the E off my name, Carole at Sanek, SANEK.com.
Well, Carole, it's been great talking to you today. I really appreciate you coming on the show. Hope we can talk to you again sometime.
Thank you. I appreciate it too.
Great. We'll be right back. Thanks for joining us for this week's edition of Our Show. Be sure to look for us next week when we have a special report on human trafficking. You don't want to miss that.